I do want to say again, I started off talking about the Vikings and some of the things that they do well. And again, I think they do a really good job really running the rock. I mean, you got Dalvin Cook. Dalvin is a special running back. He's one of my favorite running backs to watch in the NFL right now. Fluid mover. He's explosive. He runs hard, runs strong. I think first and foremost, you want to try to take him away. I think the same way that the Vikings probably want to, get off against the 49ers, like the way they want to, hey, take away the 49ers run game and make Garoppolo have to beat you. I think you could say the same thing for the 49ers. Like, take away Dalvin Cook and make Kirk Cousins have to beat you because Kirk Cousins will put the ball in risky spots. He has taken care of the ball. They have 2 interceptions. He's thrown 2 picks on the year. But I'm here to tell you, man, I watched that Vikings game and he put that ball in harm's way several times. He put the ball in harm's way several. So there were about 3 different times where I'm like, oh, Savage is about to pick that off. Savage should pick that off. About 3 times. And he did. And Savage did. There was one deep one where Savage just dropped it. There was one that Savage actually did pick off, but they called roughing the passer because the quarterback got tackled. And there was another one where at the end of the game that should have sealed the game where Savage caught the ball, but when he hit the ground, they actually called it an interception. But when they looked at the replay, it was like, oh, no, it's not a pick. It kind of slid like down to his hip or something like that. So only 2 picks on the year for Kirk Cousins, but at least in that Packers game, he was putting that ball in harm's way. Now, again, I've watched him and I watched him in that game. I watched him against the Ravens, and they will air that hole out. They will stretch the field. The one thing I will say is the 49ers haven't been prone to giving up the deep ball outside of some early pass interferences in the year. I don't think throwing the ball down the field or defending deep passes has really been an issue for the 49ers. So we'll see. I think ideally when listening to Luke Braun talk about Kirk Cousins, like he wants to play in rhythm. He wants to check the ball down. They've actually had to force him to throw the ball deep. The coach, and I'm like, man, I wonder if Kyle Shanahan could do that for Jimmy Garoppolo. But the coach had to tell him, like, Kirk, listen. Now I'm looking in the camera. Listen, throw the ball downfield. And then Kirk Cousins started throwing the ball downfield. He said he had to sit him down and everything. Like, man, dude, throw the ball downfield, pull the trigger. So they will take their shots. They will take their shots. I think the best thing the 49ers can do when they do take their shots is, man, hopefully that rush is there. Because if your rush gets there, it's going to affect the way the ball is thrown. You maybe have to throw it before you want to. That's when interceptions can happen. So there is a lot of good that they do with the offense, but there's also a lot of good that the 49ers do with their offense. And I think the 49ers have done a tremendous job really just running the rock, really being able to work off of play action. Haven't done play action as much lately, a little bit more straight drop backs, but Jimmy Garoppolo, as long as they can keep him in those short situations, he's really good in that area. He'll be really efficient on those third and intermediate downs. I think ideally that's what the 49ers want to get into, but I think they can. Now, another thing that the 49ers have really going for themselves, and I think everybody talks about the weapons that the Vikings have. Oh, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. How do you stop Justin Jefferson? How do you stop Deebo Samuel? You know what I'm saying? How come we don't ever hear that? Everybody talks so much about Justin Jefferson. He's a really good football player. He's really good. How are they going to stop Deebo? What are they going to do to limit Deebo's production? What can you do to limit Deebo's production? I don't know what you do. If I'm an opposing team, I know going into the game, like, hey, we want to really shut down Deebo Samuel. But how do you do it? Because they get the ball in his hands every type of way, and they've shown the ability to stretch the field with him. Obviously, he can catch slants, and he can get up out of there and score touchdowns, outrun defenses, and Vikings defense is not fast. Would not be surprised Deebo have a nice big catch and run. Definitely think that's a possibility. Definitely that's something that's likely to happen. You got George Kittle. How y'all gonna stop George Kittle? Brandon Ayuk's coming on. How y'all, like, 49ers got weapons too? You know the famous saying, right? When people like, somebody pull out a gun, and you're like, man, we got guns too. Like, bro, we got weapons too. 49ers got weapons too. How come nobody's talking about that? Everything has just been about the Vikings and the guys that they have and how scary they are. And I'm not saying that they're not good, but the 49ers got weapons too, man. So I want to know how they're going to stop them. I think when it comes to like defense versus defense, right? Which defense is better? I like the 49ers defense over the Vikings defense. I do. Obviously, I like Kendricks, really good. Harrison Smith is a little older, but he still can get you. He can burn you because he's a smart guy. Right. Look, they're 5-5 too, man. What we talking about? Um, Here we go. The real question is how are they going to slow down Jimmy? Jimmy he's a how can I explain this? Because I don't think you go into it saying we got to stop Jimmy Garoppolo. Right? He's not really that type of quarterback. I think it's more so like let's just stop some of the things that we know lead to Jimmy Garoppolo having success. Which I think that would be we got to stop the run game, put him in third and long situations, condense the field, make him throw outside the numbers. I think that's how you want to, limit Jimmy Garoppolo's efficiency.